Hi everyone, it's Mr. Tristan and welcome to the finale of the Survivor 50 recap. Now I know this one is pretty late, I do apologize, but I've just been very busy and I didn't really have the time and energy, but I figured it's been long enough, I have to do a finale of this recap. And because it's the finale, I figured I'd wear the same shirt that I wore when I first started talking about the season. This was a big finale. There's a lot to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. So everyone gets back from Tribal after just voting out Cirie, and Aubrey tries to ask Tiffany if she would like to talk. Of course, Tiffany shut that down because she was still upset that Aubrey was a part of targeting her to begin with, which I can understand that. So there's a three-person alliance between the boys, Jonathan, Rizzo, and Joe, and they both agreed that they wanted to take each other to the final three. So obviously their targets are Tiffany and Aubrey. So their first target would be Tiffany. But if Tiffany were to win immunity, then they would go for Aubrey. So we get to the immunity challenge, which involves them doing a whole bunch of stuff, and it ends with a puzzle. Now this puzzle was kind of like it's kind of like goes around, and there was like a hole in the center, so it wasn't an easy puzzle from what I've seen. And the challenge literally came down to Jonathan and Tiffany, and it literally came down to one puzzle piece. Tiffany was just about to get her last piece in, but Jonathan beat her to it and won the immunity challenge. So back at camp, Tiffany knew that she was the target, so she tries to get the target more on Aubrey, and she also made an argument that Joe also won the same amount of challenges as Tiffany did, which is true. They both have won 3 individual immunities. They won 2 of them by themselves, and they won 1 together. But Tiffany's arguments did not help, and she ended up being voted out unanimously. So now we get to the final 4, and of course the boys still want to go after Aubrey, so Aubrey's only chance of surviving is winning the final immunity challenge, which we're getting to right now, which the fans had the chance to vote for the final 4 immunity challenge, and it turns out the final 4 immunity challenge was Simotion, which was the one that I voted for because I just simply love that challenge. Fun fact, Simotion debuted in Survivor Tocantins when JT won the final immunity challenge. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I believe it ended up being down to Joe and Aubrey ends up winning the final immunity challenge. And oh boy, Aubrey was breaking down in tears. She was so happy. She knew that if she did not win that challenge, she was likely going to be in trouble. And then we get to this next reveal where we find out if the fans voted for a Final 4 vote or a Final 4 fire making. I, of course, voted for the Final 4 vote because I felt like that's how it should have been. Somehow, 60% of the fans voted for a Final 4 fire making challenge. Like, are these people out of their flippin' minds? So people have complained about the debut of that Final 4 fire making challenge and then making it be a permanent thing. And when they had the opportunity to change it up this season, they just kept it the way it is. I don't get it. I really don't. So yeah, anyway, since Aubrey has immunity, she gets to choose who she's taking to the final 3 with her, and she wasted no time making her choice. She decided that she was going to take Joe to the final 3, and then Jonathan and Rizzo would go against each other in fire making, which, funny thing, those are the 2 people who lost their final 4 fire making challenges. So they both went to work practicing, and Jonathan, he was able to start a fire just like that. He even started one in his confessional, which I thought was one of the funniest things ever. I don't think that's ever happened. Meanwhile, Rizzo is struggling, and it got to the point where he was about to give up. But Joe, being the kind-hearted man that he is, decided that he was going to help Rizzo with the Final Four fire, just like he did for Eva in 48. With Joe's help, Rizzo was able to start a few fires, and that made Jonathan kind of nervous. And honestly, I would be too. I mean, if I had to do a Final Four fire making challenge, no matter what, I would be nervous. You know, the most important thing is to never underestimate your opponents. And now we have a bit of a mistake from the production where it showed. So first of all, Aubrey revealed at Tribal Council that she was going to take Joe to the end, and Jonathan and Rizzo would be doing fire. And then went to a bit of a break, and Jeff was talking to Rizzo, and he had Rizzo sit with the jury, even though we did not see the Final Four fire making challenge yet. My mom and I, we were just like, wait, what? What just happened? So yeah, the Final Four fire making result was kind of spoiled, but we watched it anyway, and yeah, just like last season, Rizzo was nowhere close. So Jonathan won the Final Four fire making challenge, where he redeemed himself from losing to Mike in 42, and Rizzo becomes the final member of the jury. So now we have the final three, which are Jonathan, Aubrey, and Joe, and they're all like sitting on the beach, enjoying their last day together, when a boat comes up. And at first I was like, wait, why is there a boat? And then I started thinking, oh, they're probably just bringing their breakfast. Well, it turns out I was half right. They were having their breakfast delivered. But what they were not expecting was they were also having a little family visit. That's right. Each of the final three had a family member come to the island. We had Jonathan's brother, Aubrey's mom, and Joe's wife, who Joe mentioned his wife being tall, and at first I thought they were just kind of like the same height because usually the husband is taller than the wife. But it turns out she is taller than him, which I did not expect. But hey, love's love in different sizes too. So hey. But yeah, seeing the family members come, that's like the closest we've ever come to like a family visit in like a long time. And I always love when family members come onto the island because you get to see the real human part of these competitors, because we only see what we see on TV, but then there's like another side to these players. Also, am I the only one who's noticed that Jonathan's brother is dressed up kind of like Mario? Like, seriously, like I saw him with his outfit and I'm like, is he trying to be like a live action Mario or something? Like, I don't get it. So after the family members left, we get to the final tribal council where I knew that where the jury was going to vote, I knew that it was probably going to go down to Aubrey and Jonathan, although Joe has gotten a little bit of praise. So that was nice to see, but I knew that Joe was nowhere close to winning. Also, I just have to point out something. The way Stephanie was talking to Jonathan, you know, calling him the total package, I looked at her and I was like, you're married. Like, what are you doing? Like, it literally looked like she was just kind of gushing over him, which, again, she's married. Yeah. That was a little bit cringy. We've also seen Coach admit that he did not own up to his game in South Pacific, and Christian revealed that he was the one that gave Aubrey the Billie Eilish idol, not Rick Devens, because that was their plan. I don't remember a lot of what the jury said. I tend to like forget what they talk about, to be honest. But when the jury voted, Jeff revealed that they were going to be revealing the votes live in Los Angeles, which again, that's how they used to do it back in the day. So when the votes came down, it was 8-3-0. After having lost at the final tribal council 10 years ago, Aubrey is the sole survivor of Survivor 50. wow. I was very happy to see Aubrey win. Obviously, I had her in number 2 for my ranking because I was rooting for Jonathan in the final, but I am very happy for Aubrey. I do think she deserved it. Aubrey pretty much played from the bottom the entire game, and somehow she managed to get her way to the end and she won. So, hey, you got to give her props for that. Jonathan ended up getting 3 votes, which were from Coach, Chrissy, and Stephanie, of course. And Joe ended up getting no votes. So Joe once again got 3rd place. And Jonathan got 2nd, which is an improvement from his first time. And Aubrey obviously won, which again, that's her improvement from her first time. So they didn't do too much after that, but they did mention the car curse, where it used to be a thing where one of the rewards was somebody would win a car. But the person who wins the car ends up not winning the game. However, this time they decided to award the car to the winner. So Aubrey not only gets $2 million thanks to Mr. Beast and also Rick Devens, but she also gets a new car out of that. Like, what? Lucky her. And then with the CEO award, the winner of that one was Cirie. So Cirie gets $100,000, which honestly, good for her. You know, after all the stuff that she has brought to the show, she does deserve some money. I mean, Cirie is pretty much a legend in this game. I mean, of course, I voted for Christian, but you know what? Cirie deserves it too. So, what did I think about the final 5 and how they played? Tiffany, honestly, Tiffany was pretty invisible the whole first half of the game. They barely showed her do anything except maybe reveal to Aubrey that Genevieve was trying to come after her. And the only other thing I remember about Tiffany pre-merge was that one challenge where she was untying bags and she literally was like, I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. And then when Tiffany ended up getting more screen time, she ended up on the bottom. And I knew that Tiffany was going to have a tough road ahead of her, but she managed to get all the way to the final 5 by winning challenges and also by noticing all the threats in the game and taking them out. So Tiffany definitely improved from the first time she played, and I was very proud to see that. So Tiffany did a fantastic job, and I think if she were to play again, she could go very far. Rizzo, God, Rizzo, you have got to learn to make fire if you ever are going to play Survivor again. But I will say, Rizzo did do a good job this season. He was almost voted out pre-merge over Charlie, and he still managed to survive. And just like last season, he got an idol early in the game, although this one was given to him, also by Genevieve, and he managed to hold on to it for the entire time until the last time he could play it, which he did play it. And of course, with the fire making challenge, he was nowhere close. But yeah, if Rizzo ever plays Survivor again, he needs to know how to make fire. For real. Also, you know that lie that Rizzo didn't vote for his number 1 ally in 49? Well, it turns out this season, it was a reality. Because apparently, we find out that Rizzo's number 1 ally this season was Joe. And I think Rizzo wanted to vote for Joe, but he knew that Joe wasn't going to get any other votes, so he ended up voting for Aubrey, which I understand. I mean, you do want to vote for your number 1 ally, but if you're the only one, then, people are going to think it's all bias as opposed to voting for who you think played the best game. Now, Joe, I still love Joe, but I definitely think Joe messed up his game quite a few times this season. But for someone like him to get to the end twice in a row, that's pretty good. Not a lot of people are able to do that. So while I think Joe could have done better, especially with his interactions with Rick Devens, and also just the strategic mindset, yeah, it was definitely a bit of a mess up on his part. I will say, Joe is one of the purest human beings in the world. He is a perfect example of how a man should be. So he is an amazing person, but I don't think he's truly cut out for Survivor, unfortunately. Now, Jonathan, I also was a fan of him. Like I was a fan of his in 42, and I was rooting for him this season. Jonathan did much better than he did in 42. You know, he was more vocal at times, and he was actually like, you know, well, I guess he was just like making plans. Even though I do think his only true move would be the Camilla vote. Because after Camilla and Dee went behind Jonathan's back and voted out Charlie, Jonathan took the opportunity and voted Camilla out. Uh, I'm sure Chrissy had something to do with it because she was a target at that tribal, but I do think that Jonathan thought long and hard and thought it was best for him to vote out Camilla. Whether it was or it wasn't, I don't know. And Jonathan managed to win a couple immunities, but unfortunately, his jury management was just not good enough. And now, the champion, Aubrey. You know, I remembered watching Aubrey and Kaoh Rong. When I saw her get to the end, I was hoping she would win because she has definitely played hard. Like, she had a bit of a mental breakdown on day 2, so it didn't seem like she was going to make it far at all. But then she, like, won a challenge. She got out big threats. I really thought that she had what it took to win. Unfortunately, she did not. That's because Michelle's social game was much better. Then I saw her come back for Game Changers. You know, I was rooting for her. And of course, she comes up short again, coming in 5th. Whew, excuse me. Then we saw her come back again on Edge of Extinction, but this time with her and 3 other returning players, I knew that she was not going to make it far. And I was right. She got voted out fairly early. Though she stayed on the edge the whole time, which is pretty impressive. Then to see her come back for 50, I gotta be honest, I had little faith that she would get this far once again, but she did. And not only did she get to the end again, but she managed to win this time. So, Aubrey, good job. I'm really happy for her. And she gets $2 million, which is crazy. Not only that, she's the second person to have won Survivor on their 4th try. The other one being Boston Rob, of course. Oh yeah, some other news from the cast of from this season. Mike White, who we know does, you know, the White Lotus, he was actually not with the cast because he was in the process of getting ready to do the White Lotus season 4. And of course, he's got people from Survivor to make a cameo. And this time, he was bringing in Charlie and Camilla, which is pretty awesome. I've never seen the White Lotus. All I know is there were people from his original season, David versus Goliath, making cameos. But something tells me I've got to watch this, you know? So yeah, that's it for Survivor 50. And I know Survivor 51 is coming up, which apparently is the open era, which means any advantages or twists could happen at any time without any warning. I have no idea what is going to happen with that, but we can only wait to find out. Now I'm very excited. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed my entire recap of this season. I know some of my episodes were pretty late. I apologize for that. I don't know if I'm going to do recaps again. I mean, I was considering doing it. I mean, you know, plus there's other shows that I was considering recapping. Big Brother's coming up very soon. You know, it's good for that. I also might do the challenge, which could be cool, and then I might do Survivor 51. I don't really know, but I will say if this video gets how many likes? My videos don't really get a lot of likes, so let's say 10 likes. If this video gets 10 likes, I'll do another recap of another show, whether it's Survivor, Big Brother, the challenge. I don't know, but we'll see about that. But anyway, I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, subscribe for more. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.